everyone. Welcome to another edition of ThePrint Political Adda. After a long, bitter, and sometimes violent campaign, Tripura votes tomorrow. The BJP government there is facing a challenge from the Left-Congress alliance. But one man who has really ruled the headlines this election season is Royal Scion and Supremo of the Tripura Indigenous Progressive Regional Alliance, more commonly known as the Tripura Motha, Pradyot Debbarma. To discuss the elections and the importance of Pradyot in the scheme of things, we have with us today Subir Bhaumik, former journalist and author of several books on Northeast India. He joins us from Agartala, which incidentally is where I also came back from just yesterday. Sir, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We are also joined by our political editor, DK Singh. DK, welcome. Mr. Bhaumik, I'll come straight to the topic of the day. How important do you think Pradyot Debbarma is going to be these elections, or are we really overestimating his impact?
Abantika, let me first just correct you. I'm not a former journalist. I'm still a journalist, but I'm a former BBC journalist. Secondly, I hail from Tripura, and my grandfather came to this state in 1910 and joined the police and was the chief of the royal bodyguard. So our connection with the royal family goes back a long time. And as you know, in many such situations, Raj Bhakti runs deep in my family. I mean, politics may be different and everything, but Maharaj is Maharaj. Pradyot is very important in this election because we don't see a clear winner at the hustings. The BJP is, of course, going to town saying that they will get 36 seats easy. I actually can tell you that their chief minister may lose the election if there is a fair election. But I'll tell you how. In the last election, when the left and Congress confronted each other, the left got 13,000 votes there, and the Congress much less. The BJP got 24,000. The present candidate of the Congress in this seat, Town Bordoli, which is where I'm sitting now, it is where Manik Shah is going to contest from. Now, Manik Shah is facing Ashish Shah, who was with BJP or with Congress before, and now back to Congress. Now, Ashish had got 24,000 votes last time, assuming that half of these votes he can retain, and add to that the 13,000 odd vote that the left brings to the table, 25,000. 47,000 is the total electorate here. If you have an 80% vote count, let's say 42,000 is counted. We can see Manik Shah in very, very deep trouble, which is why the BJP has fielded Subir Bhaumik, Union Minister from Dhanpur, as a backup candidate in case Manik Shah loses. Manik Shah is somebody with a clean image, but Manik Shah became chief minister some time back when the party was compelled under various circumstances to do away with the former chief minister. Just a year or so before the polls, Biplab Dev is gone. And Biplab Dev and his followers are not very happy with the situation where he can't come back to state politics. He's in Delhi, Rajya Sabha and all that. So here is a situation where the BJP is, whatever they may say, certainly if there are fair elections, I don't think they get 30 seats, which is what they need to form a government on their own. If they don't get that, and if the left and Congress runs them very close, like in the recent Agartala bar elections, you have a congressman as president and left as secretary. Wherever the left and Congress has combined, it has led to good results. So here, if these two formations don't get a clear majority, then Tripura Motha, which did very well in the ADC election, and out of the 20 odd reserves, 20 tribal reserve seats, ST seats, the Tripura Motha is likely to do pretty well, at least 12 to 13, if not more. In that case, the king becomes a kingmaker, if not a king. When the official language of Bengal, British Bengal, was English, the court language, the official language in Tripura was Bengali. Rabindranath Tagore came here several times. He was a friend with 4 successive Maharajas of Tripura. So, the Tripura's Bengal legacy is very strong. And I asked Pradyot recently, are you not going against the traditional spirit of your ancestors by creating this tribal Bengali divide? And I asked him, can any king afford to see a divided kingdom? महाराज कोई अपना साम्राज्य को तोड़ते हुए देख सकता है? He said no. So, he has hyped. Why he is doing this? The reason he did is he was the Pradesh Congress president. But he before long realized that his royal background is not going to help him, because all mainstream parties, be it BJP, be it Congress, that he does not want a separate state. He wants greater tribal rights. He wants an autonomous state under 241 and all that mumbo jumbo. But if I understand Pradyot correctly, and I know this family very, very closely, he is not for a division of Tripura. And the last information that I have is he has cozied up. He tried to do a deal with the BJP. That's fallen through. BJP has gone it alone, not alone, with its old tribal ally, which is not very much in good form now, IPFT. So if the Congress left alliance runs close to the BJP, it's more likely that Pradyot and his Tripura Motha will back them, if not directly as a part of the alliance, definitely from outside. And the reason for that is that the left here has clearly projected, and the Congress has backed Jiten Chaudhary as the next chief minister face, not only of the left, but of the left Congress alliance, which means you will have a tribal chief minister. There's a swing from Tripura Motha supporters towards CPM at the last moment. And therefore, the king may actually play to tribal sentiments, king meaning Maharaja Pradyot, and support this alliance rather than the BJP, which is very much of a Bengali party. I mean, they hardly have any tribal following anywhere.
Right.
I have two questions here. Abantika, so please weigh in when you have been there for a week, you have been traveling around Tripura. So, from both of you, I have a couple of questions first. First, when we talk about left Congress alliance or understanding, it did not work out in West Bengal. Somehow, the Congress has been fighting against the left for decades. Suddenly, you enter into an understanding. Would there be transfer of votes? That's my first question. Second, when there is so much hype about Tripura Motha, is there a possibility that it may probably consolidate the BJP's, hold over the Bengali Hindus? Because then again, that whole thing would come up. That if tribal
are also Hindus, actually.
Yeah, so, but earlier, during those emergency periods, we saw the way Bengalis were attacked there. Those old fears.
I will answer both these questions very decisively.
Then the third question is, yes, you said Debbarma has been humiliated. And yes, that's what we are also told, that that meeting with Amit Shah went very badly. And in fact, after that, Pradyot has come out and he has informed BJP leaders that this is not the way. I'm a king. I cannot be bought or threatened. He was very upset after that meeting. So I don't know what happened, what transpired in that meeting, but he was obviously very upset. Having said that, after the elections, we have seen how smaller parties, post-elections, they're split away. I mean, we have so many defectors from those parties. And we have seen it across the country, how BJP has an advantage there. If you have just about 10, 12 MLAs, there's always a possibility that there will be a split. I want your views on that.
Okay, can you just quickly repeat your first question? Problem is when you shoot three, I tend to forget the first one.
First question is this left Congress alliance.
Right.
Our understanding did not work.
Yeah. I get that.
Yeah.
Now, let me tell you, and this is something I need to make this very clear, which is what a lot of CPM leaders did not understand in the 1970s and 80s. Bengal is Bengal and Tripura is Tripura. West Bengal is a Bengali state, okay? And it has other people. But Tripura is a state which belongs to the tribals and is now 70% Bengali majority. Most people who have come from East Bengal. But most of the people who have come used to be subjects of the kings of Tripura, who had a huge zamindari in East Bengal, where they paid tax to the British, Chakla Roshanabad, in Kumilla, my ancestral district. Tripura percent Bengali population does not mean that, both are the same. And it's not even like, T20 cricket and test match cricket. It's like cricket and football, two different games. So it's very different. In Tripura, this tribal factor is very important. The royal factor is very important. And this is something that the CPIM did not understand when they first formed the government in Tripura. that in 1978, Pramod Das Gupta, who was the CPIM Politburo observer, he said, oh, well, 70% Bengali, let's make Nipen Chakravarti the chief minister. But the traditional Bengali leaders of the Tripura Communist Party, like Biren Datta, said Dashrath Dev, the legendary tribal leader who had led a tribal insurrection in the 1950s, he should be made, otherwise there will be tribal alienation. Now, after a long, long time, the communists are realizing that they need to reinforce their tribal bases here, because without that, last time the communists lost. Why? Because out of the 20 tribal reserve seats, they lost 18. And that's why the government
I'm sorry for interjecting here, sir. My question is, the Congress has fought against the left for decades.
Yeah.
Now, how do you...
I'll tell you that. So a lot of these, Congress leaders who thought they can't fight the communists properly because of the bonhomie between the national leadership of CPIM and Congress, they are the people who went over to BJP. But belatedly, in the last 3 years, the left and Congress has realized that without them coming together, there is no way they can throw the BJP out of power. And this experiment has been tried out repeatedly in the last 2 years at different levels. For example, the Agartala Bar Council election, the BJP was wiped out. And many other such elections, the BJP has fared badly because the left and the Congress vote have begun to translate here. In Bengal, it did. In Tripura, in elections, it has. And the likelihood is now there is a situation in which the Congress brings Bengali voters into the alliance, that left basically brings tribal voter, which is why they have put up a tribal candidate as the chief minister face. And therefore, I have a feeling, unless there are other issues, law and order and stuff like that, the BJP is in for a real fight, because I can see this whole thing translating on ground.
Sir, if you can bring Abantika here, because she has traveled around. What's her feedback from the ground?
So see, I did encounter people who said that I have a history of, my family has been persecuted by CPM. Now, if I vote for the Congress, so I'm talking about a seat where the alliance candidate is from the Congress. And so basically saying that a vote for the Congress translates to BJP, I cannot vote for them. That sort of sentiment I did encounter. But overall on the ground also, there is this, overwhelming feeling generally of reduced personal freedom. There's an element of fear if you ask people questions, unless you're asking them questions in an intimate setting, in somebody's house, or in an auto where you are the only person and you've been having conversations. There is this element of fear, and that somehow is being linked to the BJP. A former government officer was telling me that if somebody parks a bike in front of my house in Agartala, my house is in a very central location, I can't go out and ask him to remove it because I don't know if he's a BJP guy, if he'll hit back. So there are issues about the alliance, no doubt, but there is also this thing that sort of is bringing people together. I have encountered both things. How much each of these will translate on the ground and how much they will play out remains to be seen. But yeah, I have seen both kinds actually. And I think what the CPM and the Congress leadership is saying, that our workers understand, it is true to some extent, not completely, but to some extent it is true. But there is a certain percentage of Congress votes particularly, because remember, so when we did that story, I got feedback on Twitter saying that, left and Congress both have persecuted each other. Tripura has a very violent political history. But the fact is, the CPM rule is more proximate. There are more people from the Congress who remember that rule and that persecution than pre-CPM rule. So that is also something I would want to clarify. It's not like only one party has done something to the other, but just that rule is closer to us. There are more people remembering that, possibly.
So another question is, we discussed this, basically this feeling that, where you are witnessing this tribal consolidation. would it alienate Bengali votes?
Well, let me tell you something. There are three things here. The leading Bengali party in Barak Valley district of Assam, Barak Democratic Front, Pradyot Debbarma is a Tripura boy. They have issued a statement 2 days ago saying no Bengali should ever vote for BJP after what has happened to the Bengalis in Assam. This NRC exercise which has led to, 2 million Bengalis, mostly Bengalis, both Hindus and Muslims being left out and then being hounded, put in detention camp, their citizenship under threat. So this Assam factor, and because Himanta Biswa Sarma, the Assam chief minister, leading the BJP campaign here on ground, there is an attempt to project that what has BJP done for Bengalis? They say Hindu-Muslim, but more Bengali Hindus have been excluded from NRC in Assam, in NRC. So I'll go and vote against BJP. I don't care whoever else. So, this feeling happens. So I don't think this playing of the Bengali card will help. Why? BJP started highlighting this Bengali thing. Oh, we are for protecting Tripura. We will not allow Tripura Mota or all these people to break up Tripura. When did they do it? It's after the breakdown of the negotiation with the Maharaja. When Amit Shah and Maharaja did not click and the thing broke down. Since then, the BJP has tried to project itself as the savior of Bengalis because they realize that in the 20 seats reserved for tribals, they are not going to do, they are not going to get anything really, maybe 1 seat or so. So in the remaining 46, they need a high sort of, scoring rate so that they can get 30 out of 40 seats to form a government of their own. So they are trying to hype this Bengali thing. But there are counter polls to play the Bengali card. And secondly, they don't really have a heavyweight Bengali leader at the moment. Their main campaigners have been Modi, Amit Shah and Nadda. They really don't have somebody like Manik Sarkar before, or Nipin Chakravarti before, or Dashrath Dev before, or even a strong Congress leader like Subir Bhaumik before. So they don't have that kind of leader in BJP. Biplab Dev was hardly known in Tripura before he came back from Delhi as some kind of an RSS organizer and became the state president of BJP. Manik Shah, well, is a good dentist. He is a good gentleman. He's a good sportsman. He comes from a traditional rich Sahab family, business family. But, he's not seen as a political heavyweight, okay? He can't swing the election on his own strength. And his own seat, I'm telling you, and mark my words, he is in trouble. He is in real trouble in town Bordoli. And that's why they have put up Pradyot Debbarma.
He won that same seat last July.
No, he won that same seat last July because Congress and left did not have a formal alliance. Chief Minister, mobilization, and a lot of other things that BJP does, 2 types of vitamin name, as they say, muscle and money. All these factors are there. But Tripura is Tripura. And there is a very powerful campaign which I've seen in Bengal before, done by Mamata, and here now the left and Congress is doing. Paisa deta hai Ambani, Adani ka paisa hai, le lo. Banglate bole. You will understand. You take the money. Vote ta bujhe debe. Vote samaj ke do. So, in Bengali areas, these things, just plain throwing up money is not going to work. Okay?
Yeah.
So all these factors are there. Manik is in trouble, which is why they have a backup plan. Subir Bhaumik has been fielded. She's an MP. Why would they field her from Dhanpur? They have fielded her. Either they think there will be a change of leadership, but that has been ruled out by Amit Shah. Manik Shah, hamara chief minister banenge. He has made it clear. But then why they have fielded an MP? Who is a senior leader, Pratima. Pratima has been fielded because in case Manik loses, they have a ready chief minister material at hand. But do you realize, DK, that when these things happen, for all these people, the ultimate aim is to be chief minister rather than a Rajya Sabha MP. So Biplab wants to come back here, Pratim wants to come back here, and Manik Shah wants to stay chief minister. Nobody wants to be chief minister for 6 months. So it's the BJP at the moment which is suffering from factionalism, and the left have decided on their leadership, this time tribal face, and the Congress has backed them, which is why Rahul Gandhi has not sent any heavyweight Congress campaigners here to send the message that the left will lead the charge. And Sudeep has been told in no uncertain terms, and Sudeep and I go back a long time because we studied together in a Dehradun military school. So, I mean, he's much junior to me though. So the point is, Sudeep has been told, if this government comes to power, you will be deputy chief minister. Chief minister, CM bhul jao. CM CPM ka banega, CPM will lead the charge here. So here the Congress is trying out three things. Generally the Congress DK has been accused that because they're a national party, even if they don't have much in a state, they try to throw their weight round. They try to project as if they're senior partner, which on ground is not the case. Here they're trying to create an example that here, because the left is much stronger than they were or are, so the left will lead the charge. And this, I think, is very, very important, in this whole new matrix, that the alliance, and the other day, I tell you, near this place where I am at the moment in Ramnagar, Sudeep and the local left candidate, they were on the stage. They were addressing a rally, and Maharaj was going from there. Sudeep saw his car and understood. He said, Maharaj, aap yahan aake humko ashirwad kijiye, and something like that. Maharaj said, Sudeep mujhe bula raha hai. So Maharaj stopped the car, got up on the stage. You think this is just signaling? This is clear signaling. Maharaj embraced Sudeep and said, hum log ek saath hain. So very clearly, the Tripura Motha is, if they get 12-13 seats and the Congress left runs the BJP close, I'm telling you, this alliance is in the making. And the point is, here the coalition leadership question is settled. It is the BJP, which is hum sab ek hain, but actually they are not ek. They have three leaders who have ideas of being chief minister.
So, Abantika, you have been interacting with Pradyot. Do you really see him going with the left and Congress? Is that final, or will it depend on the results or the numbers?
So before I answer that, one thing, you asked a question about keeping parties together post-election. When you asked those three questions earlier.
Yes.
MLAs basically keeping their own MLA together. I think yesterday what Pradyot did, when he said that I will never again appear on a political platform, I will never again give a political speech, he was sort of playing that sacrifice card to keep his MLAs under pressure, because, his MLAs, the assessment is that if BJP falls short, maybe there would be an attempt. So basically that was, passing the buck onto the people, that if they change sides, because I am out of politics, I'm not in this for power. So if somebody else does that sort of a deal, then you take care of it. That's my sense of that yesterday's announcement, where he said that I'll be around for a constitutional solution. That's one. But secondly, if you remember
but here, can I interject, Avantika?
Yeah.
There are two reasons behind this announcement that Pradyot made, because I know this for a fact. He's very sick. His kidneys are in bad shape. He has a stent in his, he had a heart attack. He has serious medical issues. He has been vomiting as he has been, walking, and he has serious problems, water retention and all that. I don't want to go into details. It may be very difficult for him, physically speaking, to continue with this kind of, hard campaigning and all that. And therefore, he's trying to make a virtue of a veritable reality, which is his physique is not going to permit him very heavy duty politics. And he's playing this on his own. And he has also said, people, jab main politics nahi shadi wadi karunga, because his mother is putting a lot of pressure on him to marry. Raj Khan ka continuation ka issue hai. So all these factors are there. There are many factors. And secondly, you are absolutely right when you say that Pradyot anticipates. I know at least 6 to 7 guys who are already in touch with BJP. We know this is a very small place. All cover is available. Yeah. So Pradyot has made this very clear, and you are right, absolutely right, that he wants to hold the flock together is a challenge for him. That's absolutely.
And
please continue.
Also, when we interviewed him, if you remember, he had actually said that even if I get 30 seats, let somebody come to me for that one seat. He would swing like Sir said, he would probably swing to the left Congress side. But I have a very strong feeling that whatever he decides, he might not be a part of the government. He might opt for something like an outside support or something if there's a hung assembly.
Yeah, absolutely right.
which looks very likely at this point of time.
Absolutely.
Because I think he understands that, like what happened with IPFT became a one election phenomenon because they went into went into the government and then they couldn't deliver. So that entire plank fell apart. And this he understands very well. That's my assessment of him.
So he will offer support from outside and he will allow the government to continue, because if he's in government, tribals will ask him, "Kya hua Tripura land ka? What has happened to Tripura?" So he will offer support from outside. That's true.
Right. So we're running out of time, sir. Thank you so much for giving us this time. Thank you, DK. Thank you, Mr. Bhaumik. And thank you to all of you who are watching. Thanks.